here's the thing. You've got most of the market going, I can't buy a house because they're too expensive. That's not true. The houses are not too expensive. You just can't qualify for a mortgage at a 6% rate. That's actually the problem. If rates went down to 4% or 3%, could they afford the house? Yes or no? The answer is yes.
Depends. But see, I put myself in that exact same position. I qualify for whatever interest rate the thing is. Okay. No money down. I just see such a big discrepancy between what I could rent a house for and the cost of owning.
Oh.
And when I see that, I think, why on earth would I buy something right now when I could rent it for half the cost?
Okay, here's the reason why. You guys should Google this. This is commonly comes up with my friend Grant Cardone, and other people go, you should rent a house. No, you shouldn't. You should own your house. And the reason being is because 99% of your audience is not as smart as you or as me. They're not as seasoned in business quite yet. The average renter, do you guys know what their net worth is? Like, you take the same.
Yeah, of course, it's $80 to $400, and the average homeowner is like $100,000. But
the average homeowner's net worth is $400,000.
I don't think that's because they bought or rent. I think the type of person to buy a house is going to be the type of person to have a good income, to save money, to have their finances down overall. Okay. I don't think it's because they bought a house.
Let me make an argument, and I say I agree with you.
Yeah.
So you want people to have the mindset of a renter, not the mindset of somebody who owns a house?
No, have the mindset of whatever makes the most money for you. And right now, I'm in such a firm belief that right now, renting is a superior option to buying, unless you plan to keep the house for at least 10 years or under certain circumstances where there's an emotional component of owning a house.
Yeah.
You want to raise a family there. You need stability.
Yeah, it's like what Ben Mullen said
of mind.
On your podcast. He's like, this is my personal home. What do I care if it cash flows?
100%.
Same thing for me. If you have a wife, you have kids, it's like you should own the house.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think if you're in your 20s or 30s and you look at it purely from a financial standpoint.
For example, yes, I agree.
Just a financial standpoint, at today's prices, to me, I think it's a no-brainer to rent if you would be disciplined enough to save the difference.
And you think that because the interest rates are high enough that your payment would far supersede what your monthly payment would be if you got a loan?
It's not just interest rate. It's interest rates and prices. Because if prices came down to a certain point, but interest rates were at 8%, you could make the argument that, okay, it's just how does it compare to any other option out there?
It's also just cost of ownership. And that includes a bunch of other things, tax insurance, stuff like that. But the problem is that, yes, Graham's assumption is that people are as smart as him. The reality of the situation is that most aren't. And so if you tell someone to rent instead of buying so they can save the difference, like, I don't think anyone's going to do that. I have so many friends.
Okay, so this is my argument. This is exactly my argument.
I have so many friends my age.
I want to try this so badly.
I have so many friends my age, and I'm not going to say their names. Jack, I'm saying your name. It's not me. It's a different Jack. He's lived with his parents for a few years, and he could have saved the amount of money that he would have spent on rent if he didn't live with his parents. And he could have a down payment on a house right now, but he hasn't.
Okay,
that's a smart person. He's a smart guy, mechanical engineer.
Graham and I are very different people, and I appreciate the type of people Graham represents. I operate better with pressure on my back. I just do. Meaning, if I have a kid coming, I'm going to work harder. Right? What did Alex Hormozi say? He's said this a dozen times. He's like, if you have more kids, it's statistically shown that because of the pressure of having kids, you are going to earn more money. I think you have to alleviate the optionality that you give people of saying, well, save the money and invest the rest. They ain't going to do that.
Look at how that turned out with college student loans. Do you think that put pressure on people to make more money when they're graduating $100,000 of student loan debt? No. I think
I don't disagree with you on that.
I think there could be a situation, and this is my hot take. In 20 years from now, we look back and say we forced down buying a home as the American dream, just like we did with a college education. And man, maybe that wasn't the right choice.
I think you're right, but that would be a completely different list of reasons than what we're assuming right now.
Yes.
It could be because AI robots can create houses way faster and the cost of houses go down. We have no idea what the market's going to look like in 20 years. That's just a wild speculation that you can throw out way in the future. But if we're talking in terms of like where we're at right now, then it makes more sense. I think because it's a forced savings account.
You agree with me is that that is exactly it. I believe it's a forced savings account. It forces people to actually do the thing they said they were going to do.
It's the argument of like credit card versus debit card. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, if you optimize with a credit card, you're probably better off because you're saving 1% to 2%.
Right.
But if you use a debit card, you're going to spend less according to studies because of the psychology and how that gets in the way.
It's not really a forced savings account anymore. If you have a 7% mortgage rate, You're paying 7% for the mortgage. You're paying another 1% for property tax. You're paying another 1% on insurance and random things. So you're paying like 9% now. That's not a savings account.
There's appreciation of the property.
Maybe there's appreciation. Look at Texas. Look at Florida. They lost 15, 20% from peak.
Yeah, in certain markets, yeah, like Austin's really compressed. I agree with that entirely.
I have trouble today thinking that the real estate market is always going to be going up in perpetuity, or that prices are guaranteed to be higher 50 years from now than today. And I think overall, I would bet more likely than not, but I just don't see that as being a sure thing in certain cities.
Let me try and agree with you.
Okay.
I will agree with you on certain things like single family, like the McMansions. I think a lot of those are going to go away. I think your age group does not give a crap about those. You guys care more about like individual experiences and traveling and all of those types of things. You don't care about big, massive houses. I think a lot of those things are going to change and they're going to evolve. And I think a lot of single family houses are going to get chopped up into co-living that are not in HOAs. I think the world of single family will go away that we at least understand for sure. I agree. I do think that even if they printed houses, right? I know a lot of builders, they control the demand. Like they're land banking 15 years in the future. These guys are buying land and sitting on it for 15 years until prices go up. People are not builders, Pulte Homes and all these big people. They are not going, okay, we can make a ton of money by making these cheap. That is never going to happen. They bought that land 15 years ago. They have to make the money they have to make. Even if technology comes along, they're going to wait until the market goes up, then print a bunch of houses. Look what the builders are doing right now. They're pulling back. They're taking some of their losses. They're giving people all these incentives and they're pulling back and they're stopping building. Why? They could build houses right now, could they not, and make them cheaper? No.
They couldn't necessarily
They
make
can.
them cheaper.
They just
How do they
released
make them cheaper?
they look at Lennar. Look how much money Lennar made
Yeah, but they'd be
last
taking
year.
losses, wouldn't it? But it's
They would
better
make
for them not
less
to take
money. They wouldn't make a loss. They would make less money. And when you say, hey, these people are going to start printing houses, like in Casa Grande, they printed an entire community all out of concrete just south of where I'm at. They will release them as slow as they possibly can to keep profits high. Lennar is incentivized to do that. And so nobody's going to figure out technology and go, all right, guys, we figured it out. We can make houses super affordable. Let's print the crap out of these things. It's not going to happen unless the government does it. And is the government good at doing that?
Doesn't all it take, though, is one company to do it, to undercut? Like we have a Robinhood where all of a sudden they come out with $0 trades. And
okay, cool.
Every other brokerage.
I'll give you a company that's doing it right now. I'm not associated with them, but the name of the company is Sola, S-O-L-A, out of Los Angeles. And they do modular homes. So what they do is they pour a concrete base. You saw what they did in California, where they spent like $2 million per unit for homeless people, like that whole thing.
Awful.
Okay,
yeah,
but that's when the government does it, right? Okay, cool. But when an individual enterprise does it, they pour the first floor, they then stack these modular homes on it, and it's a beautiful model, and it works really, really well. The problem is it takes 3 years for permits, 4 years for permits. So even if somebody comes along with a great, unbelievable solution, the government's going to prevent them from doing it. And when you have such a polarized world of like blues versus reds, good luck solving any problem in today's political environment. Everything is used as warfare every single time. And so you just got to understand, I don't think they're ever going to solve affordable housing. They never have. They never will. Name one president that made affordable housing more reachable. Name one. It's never happened. Never once has it happened. It's only gone like this. It's going to continue to happen. Why? Because they're incentivized to not make it happen. Now, what's crazy, I don't know how they're affording it. I think what Dave Ramsey said the other day about how disgusting it is about how much they're printing money, I agree with him. A lot of your audience and like the Dave Ramsey world, right? I think people that are listening to Dave Ramsey are people that are at a 9-to-5 job that go, I want to save my shekels and I want to go and invest and buy a little bit of Bitcoin. I want to play it safe. That's not my audience. My audience is like, I want to be worth $100 million. I want to be worth $20 million. I want to be a millionaire. I'm not excited about saving money on this or saving money. I want to learn how to make money. Much more like Ben Malla's audience. Ben Malla's audience is like, if I use debt correctly, I can be a multimillionaire. That's not Dave Ramsey's audience. I'm somewhere in between. I'm a little bit closer to Ben Malla, but also I don't use his strategies. What are his strategies? He waits for the bank to tell him when he should borrow money. I don't wait for any of that. I go directly to the seller and they are my bank. And I go, I want 2% interest. I want 3% interest. I want 4% interest. And so for me, prices are really not that important. It's my ability to get into the deal and my ability to cash flow it.